Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise, and today I'm going to be bringing you another weapon preview. This time around, it is going to be the hunting horn at your request. I put up a poll in my YouTube community section where you guys could choose from a bunch of weapons that I wanted to check out next, and you guys chose the hunting horn. In case you guys are wondering why didn't you see this poll on your feed or what the deal was with that, probably because you're not subscribed with the bell notification on, because if you are subscribed with the bell notification, you should have received this poll in your feed. But anyways, I shouldn't really be surprised that the hunting horn is the one that won, considering that when Capcom revealed the gameplay showcase for each of the weapons, the hunting horn showcase was pretty much a jaw dropper, right? Everybody was like, holy crap, look at what the hunting horn is doing. This is insane. Some people were even calling it the new 15th weapon because it is so much different from its previous iteration. This includes World. And after getting my hands on it for a significant amount of time, I would have to agree. Like the very first time that I picked up the hunting horn, I just went up to Mizutsune, beat the crap out of him, and it was barely even challenging, which is surprising for me because it was even challenging for me to like get used to the new tempo of Monster Hunter Rise with my main weapon, which is the Gunlance. So going in there with a completely new weapon and just completely destroying Mizutsune was very much surprising for me. But anyway, let's get down to business and talk about the new mechanics for the hunting horn in Monster Hunter Rise. And let me start this off by saying that the performance system has been completely revamped from what we knew in Monster Hunter World. See, back in World, you used to have to perform a sequence of attacks, which would in turn play a sequence of notes, which would then create a melody, and then you would hit the right trigger to play that melody, which would grant your team and yourself the buffs that that particular melody would give. And then at the end of the melody, you could press the right trigger again to perform an encore, which would increase the potency and I believe the duration of the buffs that were given by that melody. Well, this time around, things are not like that at all. So if you look at the top left-hand side, you will see a set of buffs that you can get from this hunting horn, starting things off with self-improvement, which is kind of like your self-buff. This doesn't actually go to your teammates, just to yourself. You have defense up with double X, you have attack up with double A, and you have health recovery small with double XA. Okay, so first, how do you have access to self-improvement? Because it doesn't really have a button prompt. Well, all you got to do is press the trigger button, and it will go into self-improvement instantly. And this is usually the first buff that you want to get when you are playing with the hunting horn, because it increases your movement speed and it also makes it so that your attacks cannot be deflected by the monster. So that is a pretty big deal in my book. So just being able to press right trigger and boom, you just get that self buff. It's just something that you will want to upkeep, and you can see above your health whether or not the buff is active. So make sure to always keep self-improvement active and make that kind of like your priority as one of the first things that you want to do. And he forgot something. Hello everyone, Rurikhan here from the future to let you guys know that Rurikhan from the past neglected to mention an important new addition to the hunting horn. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. So besides the new note system that Rurikhan from the past is about to tell you guys all about, they've also changed the draw attack of the hunting horn, and that is to say there isn't one. So if you're running around and you press X, you just draw your weapon. You don't necessarily go into an attack. Some of you guys that maybe never played the hunting horn before might be wondering, why is this so important? It's so important because it means you now get to choose which note you do after you draw your weapon. Whereas previously you would always draw into a triangle note on the PlayStation or whatever your other platform equivalent was. Now you can basically draw your weapon and then decide, okay, I actually want to play A. And boom, you got your A note. Or you can draw your weapon and say, hey, I want to do X plus A, and you get your X plus A note, which is a really, really good improvement. This also works on aerial attacks. So if you jump, press X, it draws your weapon, but you can change the attack midway. So you can swap it into an A if you want to. You can swap it into an X plus A note if you want to while you're still in the air. And I just figured that'd be a pretty important change to mention. So I'm going to throw this back to Rurikhan from the past, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, after that, you see, okay, so what is the double X? Well, the way that the system works now is you just attack with X twice, and you will see the notes appear, and boom, there you go. you have defense up now. You go double A, and boom, you have attack up now. You press XA, do 2 attacks with it, and boom, you just recovered. I believe this is just for the red portion of your health, but there you go. You did the melody. And now you'll notice that there is a glowing set of notes below our stamina right there. That is a new mechanic called the Magnificent Trio, which unlocks after you played each note at least once. So after you've done that, you have access to this special attack, which is ZR plus X. It's actually easier to perform that after another attack. So usually I just go, okay, attack, and then spam ZR and X, and that gives you this. But if you're able to play, to hit ZR and X at exactly the same time, you will get the same effect. Now let me eat real quick here to get our stamina back, because I just can't stand looking at my stamina gauge and not seeing it full. I'm just a little bit OCD like that. Now it is important to mention that the Magnificent Trio also gives you all 3 buffs. So instead of doing it like I was doing, which is like pressing the buttons twice each time to get each note individually, what you can do is get all 3 things at the same time. So you can go X into A into XA and then press ZR and X, and you get your all 3 buffs refreshed for yourself and for the whole party. This includes self-improvement, and it also performs health recovery as well. So basically it's a matter of choices. Like, do I really need to get attack up real fast right now? Okay, you want to go double A, and boom. There you go. You have your attack up. Do I really need to get defense up right now super fast? Okay. Then press X twice. Boom. You got your defense up. Do I not need any of those things? And you probably want to go and play the 3 notes in any order that you want. And there you go. Now you guys might be wondering, so what's the most efficient way of actually hitting the notes? And that's going to be something for the mathematicians like Ginjix and Tuna or whatever to figure out and decide, Team Darkside is going to be figuring out which one is going to be the most efficient way of just destroying monsters. I'm not going to be getting into the math analysis of like, oh, if you play X plus A and then X, that's going to be the best. In terms of combos, all you got to know is that all of these combos flow seamlessly into one another. So you press X, you can go into A, no problem, can press X and A. Directional inputs do change what the attack looks like, but the note played is still the same. So, basically every combo with the hunting horn is an infinite combo. Like, I can be here all day just playing notes and it's not even a problem, right? But obviously, like I said, you want to at least play one of each note, because that opens up the Magnificent Trio combo, which is pretty damn powerful. Now, if you look to the top left-hand side to the right of our sharpness gauge, there's a little ball there with the symbol of the hunting horn. Now, hopefully I'll be showing some gameplay footage at this point so that you can actually see that that ball fills up while you are hitting monsters with any attack. Anything that you hit on a monster is going to fill up that little bar. So what happens when you fill it up all the way? Well, when it's completely full, after you do the Magnificent Trio combo, you're able to press ZR one more time, and that is going to trigger that new move that we had in Iceborne, where he basically plants the hunting horn on the ground and spins it around. You guys probably remember that, because I said that's one of the most fun moves that you had in Iceborne. It had made the hunting horn a really fun weapon to play. That just very simple move that you're able to do. This time around, that move is going to be much more meaningful, because you actually have to work up to it and then do that specific move in order to trigger an additional buff, which is going to increase your attack even more than the simple use of attack up. And that's kind of like the basic mechanics of hunting horn for Monster Hunter Rise in a nutshell. Now, once again, I would request that you guys understand this is not one of my main weapons. I did play it a little bit during Monster Hunter World, but it is not a weapon that I would ever consider that I was really good at, okay? But what I can tell you is that this is an extremely strong weapon in Monster Hunter Rise, because of the fact that you're buffing yourself, you're buffing your teammates, and at the same time, you're able to dish out an incredible amount of damage without the old complication that it was for you to maintain your songs. Now, I understand that for hunting horn mains, I say, oh, it's complicated for you to maintain your songs. Guys like, complicated. I know, the more you practice a weapon, obviously, things become second nature, muscle memory, so on and so forth. But for those of us that do not main those weapons, you know, maintaining the songs, at least for me, was a little bit challenging, particularly trying to do performances with monsters that wouldn't stand still for 2 seconds, constantly charging at you. That's one of the reasons why I would do it with Rocksteady Mantle, which was, you know, not the safest way to play your music, but hey, it got the job done, right? Anyway, besides that, let's take a look at the Silkbind arts, and the Hunting Horn has 2 really powerful Silkbind arts. So starting things off with your Z and X, you have the Silk something glide, the glide beat or the slide beat or whatever it is that they're calling it. And this particular move has not invincibility frames, but hyper armor. So basically you can charge through anything a monster throws at you. Probably maybe not the strongest of attacks, but most of monster attacks, you will be able to basically charge right through them and do this attack in the monster's face. Which, by the way, after you perform this attack, if that little circle around your hunting horn is full, you can press ZR again to do the special spinning move, which gives you the Song of Flame or whatever it's called, that gives you an additional attack boost. Okay, so the same way that you would do it in the Magnificent Trio, you can do it with this particular move as well, making this an extremely powerhouse of a move because it has a lot of hits, causes a lot of exhaust damage, causes a lot of KO damage, and also comes with hyper armor. Like when I initially saw this move, I was like, this is completely insane. The amount of potential that this move gives to this weapon, which is already kind of like an unrelenting weapon, the way that you can play it in this demo, is just completely out of this world. It's a really, really strong weapon. Now, I know that some people, you know, they would say the Hunting Horn in World is also very powerful, and I completely agree. As someone that played it very little, I would still agree that it is a very powerful weapon. But I always felt that the community at large didn't really respect the damage potential of the Hunting Horn. Even by the end of Iceborne, I still had that vibe. But, you know, Hunting Horn mains would know, right? But now I feel like it's even more powerful than it used to be. Like, it is straight up a powerhouse. Now let's talk about the second Silkbind move, which is the ZL and A, and that gives you basically what I called a wormstake attack. What you do is you stab the monster with the bottom of your Hunting Horn, and it puts in like some kind of a stake on them. And then there's a silk thing from the wire bug that stays attached to your weapon, and then your character goes back and plays the horn, and that creates a shockwave that makes the stake explode inside the monster. And at least in the demo, the damage this thing does is brutal. In a lot of cases, I've seen upwards of 300 damage, which is quite a bit in this particular demo, and I was very, very impressed. It was one of the moves that I tried using as much as I possibly could whenever monsters were knocked down, and it also, again, does a lot of exhaust damage and a lot of KO damage. So yeah, really, really powerful weapon for Monster Hunter Rise. I was super surprised, and personally, I greatly enjoyed the changes. I've seen that not everybody is like on the same wavelength when it comes to this weapon. I've seen people that love it. I've seen people that prefer the way that it used to be. But once again, I just like to remind you guys, there's still a lot we don't know about moves that we don't know for each of the weapons in the demo. So I guess stay tuned until we actually get to the final release of the game, and then I believe we'll have a lot more to learn about each weapon. But for now, gotta tell you guys, Hunting Horn, one of the best surprises to come in this demo and even in the showcase video. Like, I was positively surprised, and I think the weapon is looking friggin' amazing, and I do not blame anyone that decides to switch to be a Hunting Horn main. As a matter of fact, I welcome all of you so that you can buff my damage even more in whatever hunt we happen to do, huh? Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit it up with a like. If you did not enjoy it, hit it up with a dislike. Feedback is important. If you usually enjoy my content, subscribe, bell notification icon, all of that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.
時だ。終幕。